We're back. It's another journey of the same screenwriter. Actually, it's the same journey. But we're on day 156, approaching half a year. Well, still a little bit away. In days, that is. It's been more than a half a year of time because I guess I should go back and look. I don't know if I started this in April or May. Gosh, I don't even want to go back and look. Okay, let's see here. Page 13. Okay. Call you back. So I'm just looking. Page 12 is when Rachel calls Holly. So that's good news because that is within the acceptable limit of my limitations. Okay. So, gosh, once again, I'm trying to work through this scene, distill it down into its bare essence, and make it not so long. Of course, it is backstory exposition, but it's kind of also has to set up what is to come. And I'm really trying to figure out, as I've said before, how much of this the audience really needs to know and cares to know. And so, as you see, I'm framing this such that Lexi does the talking and the answers that Holly doesn't give are kind of implied. Which is maybe kind of a good conceit, a way to do it, because Lexi is basically answering them based on sort of Holly's reaction, but mostly her opinions or estimations or speculation. And even when Holly does say, she says, I won't say that wasn't part of it, which is kind of a double negative, maybe. And then we get into the legally free, or legally free. Is that right? Legally free. Well, I guess that's right, to make your own decisions. So I think, that's a pretty good summary. And it's always hard to know. On the one hand, you don't just want dialogue. On the other hand, what do you say, like in that part where the new reality weighs heavy on, it should be heavy on Lexi. They walk in silence as she mulls things over. That might be 10 seconds. It might be 2 seconds, but you can't really just say they walk in silence for 10 seconds because that's stupid. So sometimes you have to put in little things just to beat, not as in club, but give beats to the screenplay and let it breathe a little so it's just not like yakety yakety yak like a stage play. But of course, even in a stage play, the director, just like in a screenplay, will give the actors business to do, whether it's walking, looking here, looking there, pausing, that sort of thing. So there is a school of thought that says you don't really need a whole lot unless something, if someone's going to exit the building or the room or enter or, stand up, sit down, break something, whatever, you need to put something in. But like where I have Lexi can't believe it. I don't know. Lexi's expression clouds. What do you put there? If it's implied by the dialogue, do you need to put anything? Do you just let the dialogue keep going and carry the scene and let the actors and the director figure it out? I still don't have a good answer to that. But this scene is getting better. Let me see, accusation with a silencing hand. See, how do you describe that? That she puts up a hand that says, "Whoa, wait, just wait a minute. I'll explain." That's, I don't know. And then Lexi gives her a chance to I mean, do you even need that? I don't know. Is there a better way to write that? Probably. What is it? If I knew, I would have written it. Okay, so tell my mom thanks, but no thanks. Tell her to go to hell. So that scene still ends the same. And yeah, that squeezing the neck of the owl is stupid. So I need to fix that someday. But that scene is only about 2 pages long, so I'm kind of happy with that, at least the length. Okay, so we're in the gym. This is changing a little bit. Obviously, Holly is not one to open up. Okay. Oh, here we go. 12 years of being there first is no idea how much you've given up to see. So why is that exactly? So the idea here still is the dichotomy between Holly has given up. I mean, she says she has, and I guess we have to believe her, to stay here and basically kind of look after her, but she doesn't want to really come out and tell her because she would assume that Lexi understands that. Not entirely sure if that is the right way for this scene to go. It's so funny how you can just work on a scene and you just make these little tweaks, and then one day you read it and you go, oh my gosh, I need to completely change it. That is the story of the script, pretty much. So I got rid of that first line, which is good. She's not alone. I mean, Katina would, well, maybe she wouldn't know, but yeah, I'm not really there. I think that's a little better. Because Holly's thought is why do I even need to tell her she should know that? The counter argument would be, well, teenagers are by nature kind of self-centered and not always thinking of the other person. And it looks like I'm about to completely eliminate that line of dialogue. Nope. I mean, there's so many things like wheels to face her for some reason offended. To me, that's an expression that she would show. Does it need to be said? I don't know. So now I'm getting a little bit to the heart of the matter. That is that this is Holly's longest relationship. The one that she's had with Lexi. Sort of obviously as a mentor, auntish, not really even a motherish figure, more of an aunt figure. So now that I'm taking more of that line of thought, I think that will be better because that's really kind of at the heart of this. You know, she's known her for all this time, and yet she hasn't opened up much to her. And that's a little more interesting. So, you know, the kickboxing bag being basically a stand-in for Lexi, not that she would punch her, but that's kind of what, obviously, that purpose is. That's a better version of that line. Because it is interesting. I mean, as we kind of know and are finding out, Holly's never had a serious relationship with a guy, it doesn't seem like. And has she just been so consumed with her job with Lexi? Is the combination kind of too much for her? Or exactly what? And so now I'm just writing out some dialogue. I'm just playing around with stuff. Okay, this is going to lead to something pretty good, though, I believe. As I recall, 5 weeks later, 5 weeks and a bit. So that idea, yeah. All right, so now I'm getting somewhere. After 156 days, I'm getting to the gist of this scene. Maybe. So some of this, I mean, if it was a novel, this would be easy to write because you could just spend a page and a half going through the internal dialogue and giving all this context to it and all that stuff, which is the cool part about a novel. A screenplay, you get into these deep, not really philosophical, I don't know what you would call them, kind of baggage that a character has, but how do you show it? How do you say it in as few words as possible? And that's really the magic of a good screenplay. Magic which mine has not quite found. All right, so it leads me back to the long and winding road. It leads me back to this scene so I can set up a little bit better, I think, what I have in mind for that scene that I was working on with Holly and Katina. Let's see here what I do. Find out there's a lot of cases don't end as well as this. Oh, look at that. Boom, I cut down the whole thing about you can either do one or the other. I mean, that was kind of an interesting idea, but now it's getting longer. We don't have the best abilities of the people we serve. I mean, he's stating a fact in as far as he is concerned. Tweaking. Again, stating the fact as far as he's concerned from all his experience. And then I kind of like that where he tells her that, and Holly is literally, look, is that an order or is that just some fatherly-like advice? And he replies. So right there, her head shakes no, but her expression says yes. I mean, can an actress pull that off? I'm confident that she can. Even if I really wanted to. I'm looking at the end of the scene that ends near the bottom of page 6. I guess that's the dialogue. All right, so man, what's his influence? I said yes. Or any kid, okay. He hands her the folder. So that scene is, I mean, that's pretty compact. It gives kind of what she's been going through. Well, no, this is still in the past. So now we're going into the future. So we've set up, obviously, that Paul has kind of not warned her, but told her, advised her not to, become involved and be sort of this mentor or whatever role model figure. And now we see, and I don't know if that's new or not, Katina's misspelled, but Katina knows about Lexi and obviously probably knows to some extent that Holly has been kind of mentoring her. Mentoring? Yeah. Come on, spell her name right. It's so crazy. I mean, it's sitting right there staring me in the face and I don't fix it. Might make her a little bit older than late 30s. Because I want her to have something closer to, well, I mean, late 30s, you could have a teenage son, but probably be likely to be 40s. Okay. bowling alley, as I've mentioned. That's where her mom works. So we're on page 10. Okay, just little tweakages here. It's funny how I went back to this. We stayed in touch. The guy she's dating. So setting up this thing. The guy Abby's been dating. So that I've kind of cut out the part where, or did I cut out the part where Lexi? All right, so here's a big change. Big change, finally. So she says Abby and I are going to the racing place. She doesn't know anything about the cabin. So that's obviously a big change for several reasons that I'm sure you can figure out. Oh, okay. I'm totally... Now the new idea is that a couple years ago, Holly took her there, and so Lexi is going to go back to it. And what I keep forgetting to comment on is, have I left out the part where Lexi makes it apparent that she and Abby are still friends? Okay, it's awesome that you guys have stayed in touch. Okay, so I think that still works. It's not a direct, hey, you remember Abby? Oh, we're still friends. And so this is saying that Holly knows that she has been keeping in touch with Abby, which is another kind of clue into the fact that she at least knows something about her life. And Holly is, when she hears guy friends, she's kind of assumes she wants to know, are these boys, as in a boyfriend? And then the phone rings. When in doubt, have your phone ring. Build suspense. So this could really be considered the catalyst, of course, and we're on page 11, 11-ish, 12-ish, which is good. I still need to tweak this. Her father just got out of prison. That's impossible. Because Holly would most likely be kind of on top of that, I would think, through Paul or however, and just want to know as a matter of course. And so I kind of need to... I do like that line where Rachel says that was a much more convincing argument when he was behind bars. So that's getting in the decent land. And then they go on this walk. Again, Lexi's doing much of the talking. Oh my gosh, the day has ended. I don't know where I started that day, but I seem to have gone backwards. But I do think the story is once again improving. And, I thought today was longer than it was, but I guess not. Still, it's day 156. It's in the can. Thank you so much for hanging in there with me. And I'll see you tomorrow.